Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the FC's Football channel, and today we are talking about what I believe Ole Gunnar Solskjær should be sacked as Manchester United manager. Now, before we get into this video will be split up into 5 different sections. So first of all, we're going to have lack of improvement, then we're going to go into the tactics, then we're going to go into how I feel Ole Gunnar Solskjær picks favourites, then we'll go into how I believe we are a team that are bottlers. I think we're just like Tottenham a few years ago, and then we're just going to go into a few minor issues that just further build a case for me and in my mind that Ole Gunnar Solskjær is not the right man for the job and should be sacked as Manchester United manager. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this. Number 1, lack of improvement. Now, of course, when Ole Gunnar Solskjær first got the job as the interim manager, we was playing absolutely fantastically. He then got the full job and fell off. As a caretaker manager, he was averaging about 2.32 points per game. After he got the full-time job, that dropped massively to 1.83. So there was a clear drop-off from when Ole Gunnar Solskjær got the job originally as caretaker and then became the full manager. That drop-off got worse last season as we dropped to then 1.73 points per game. And I think we can all admit, last season we were horrific. Especially until we got Bruno Fernandes. And again, the stats say that. Last season, before we got Bruno Fernandes, we was averaging 1.33 points per game. That's an even bigger drop-off to what we saw when Ole Gunnar Solskjær got the full-time manager compared to where he was caretaker. A massive, massive drop-off. 1.33, that is sack your manager territory. He kept the job and he signed Bruno Fernandes, and that 1.33 massively jumped, nearly a whole point more on average to 2.28. So, where are we at this season? This season, we are at 1.96 points per game. So, of course, that is an improvement from last year's 1.73. However, what I do question is, are we seeing this improvement thanks to these players getting better, or are we seeing the improvement from the fact we're just seeing a whole season now of Bruno Fernandes? I don't think we're anywhere near as good as we were after lockdown. I think after lockdown, we were brilliant. I think we were probably the best team in the league. This season, we're playing nowhere near that level. But on the surface, like I said, it looks like we're improving. I think we're second now. We should really finish second. Last season, we came third. Ole Gunnar Solskjær's first year in charge, well, first season, I guess, we finished 6th, so improvement there. But performances, I don't see it. I think this year, we've been very lucky to be second. I don't think we're the second best team in the league. I think we've been very lucky that, for one, the league is just generally easier, in my opinion. And second of all, I think these big competitors of ours have got big injuries or have fallen off the ball a little this season. And yes, you have to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjær for not falling off the ball. But Is that really what we're doing? Are we really saying, oh, at least he didn't collapse like Lampard did. That's why he's good enough. I think if you look around the league, Liverpool, major injuries. If they didn't get their major injuries, they would be right up there with us. Leicester, they're right behind us. They've just beaten us in the quarter-final of a FA Cup. They've got massive injuries and have throughout the season. And yet, we've been pretty much injury-free. Of course, we've had a few injuries. Cavani's got injured a few times. Of course, a few weeks ago, we was in a position where majority of our defensive midfielders, players that would play that double pivot, were all out injured. But nowhere near as bad as what Leicester and Liverpool have had. Yet, Leicester especially, they're right behind us still. And going back to, again, what I was saying about the league being easier. And look, of course, we're also not playing with fans. But I think the fans affect the bigger teams a lot less than it does the smaller teams. Especially those teams that just got promoted. Because Manchester United, Liverpool, Man City, they still have these amazing players. Manchester United still have Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Paul Pogba. Liverpool still have Salah and Mane. Man City still have Sterling, De Bruyne. But Sheffield United, they don't have these type of players. They have really a championship squad that were trying to compete in the Premier League. You saw them last season. Before fans left the stadiums, they were doing fantastically. As soon as fans left, they fell off massively. And again, we've seen that this season. I think Fulham, you could say, if they had fans, they'd be doing better than they are. And I don't think Fulham are doing terribly. So I think the league is slightly worse this season. I don't see a massive difference in ability. Like I said, last season we was averaging 1.73 points per game. This season it's 1.96. And this year we've just got a full season of Bruno Fernandes. So I don't see a massive improvement of how we're playing. But this is where I go into my second point, tactics. Tactically, are we any better than we were last season? I would say no. I would say, in fact, we're probably worse. I think last season, especially after lockdown, we saw what we can be. We saw a team that weren't struggling to break down low blocks like we've done this season again with West Brom, Sheffield United. We were seeing teams that would smash Brighton. We smashed Sheffield United 3-0. Aston Villa, we smashed. This season, we ain't doing that. And it looked like we'd finally got over that. Because that's something we did struggle with before lockdown last season. We looked like we got over that. And our front three of Martial, Greenwood and Rashford absolutely on fire. Bruno Fernandes was on fire. This season, I think we've strayed away kind of from what we were doing after lockdown. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjær is trying to improve us. But in doing that has made us worse. Because I think he's tried to make it so the team is built around Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes. And trying to get them goals rather than getting the team goals sort of thing. I would much prefer, and I think you guys all should agree, I would prefer it for us to win 3-1 and Martial, Greenwood and Rashford all score one each than us to win 2-1 and Rashford scores both. Because it doesn't matter if Rashford scored 2. As a team, we've been worse because we've scored a goal less sort of thing. We don't need it just to be Rashford scoring, and it seems like Ole Gunnar Solskjær has tried to focus Marcus Rashford trying to score and Bruno Fernandes trying to score them rather than spread the goals around the team. And I think that's noticeable by the drop-offs of Martial and Greenwood's goals. I don't think Greenwood scored a Premier League goal this season. Martial, he's nowhere near the level he was last season goal-wise. I think Cavani, look at Cavani. He wants to leave already. After his first few games, there was reports that he wanted to sign a new contract, wanted to stay long-term. He really wants to leave. He wants to go to Boca Juniors. He's pissed off. I think if we look back to that Liverpool game, Cavani made a fantastic run. Rashford should play him in. He doesn't. Because I think, again, Rashford's been told to try and make them runs. Be greedy. Try and score goals yourself. And I don't think that is what's best for the team. And I think it really is. It's made us a worse team tactically for me. Like I said, if we look at when we've played the smaller teams this year, we've played them 5 times. We've won 3 of them. You look at the games we've won. West Brom, that was a lucky penalty. It was probably a penalty for us, but did Fred foul? Was it Gallagher just before we got the penalty? Should Gallagher had a penalty himself? You look at Sheffield United. Yeah, we did tear them apart really, but we didn't look great in that game. Obviously, we then lost to them. You then look at Fulham. We won that game thanks to a goalkeeper mistake where Areola should have grabbed the ball but spilled it out to Cavani's feet, and a screamer from Paul Pogba. We ain't dominating these games. We ain't creating chance after chance after chance. Even if you look at the West Brom game we drew, we conceded a stupid goal, but we still had about, 88 minutes to try and come back? We created nothing, really. We scored a screamer or a wonder goal through Bruno Fernandes, and then we was all crying because we didn't get a penalty against Harry Maguire. Yes, it should have been a penalty, but is that really where we are? Is that where we are as a club? That against West Brom, we need a penalty to win us the game. We should be creating more. We should be scoring goals. And look, we didn't deserve to win that game. West Brom, they created more chances than us, and we dominated the ball. It's not good enough. And last season, we got rid of that. We had sorted that. We were scoring goals, and we looked fantastic against big teams and small teams. Look at Spurs. We smashed them when we got our best team on the pitch in that second half. We smashed them. We should have won. If it weren't for a brilliant Eric Dyer block and a wonder save by Hugo Lloris, we would have won that game. But this season, it's all gone. We're scared to go against the big teams and attack them. And that's why we see McTominay and Fred play every time against these big sides. We're scared to go at them. If you look at our games against the traditional top 6 this season, we've played them 10 times. We've kept 6 clean sheets, which on the outside looks fantastic. But we've only scored in 3 of them games, and we've only won 2 of them. That's not good enough for Manchester United. And again, Because we go back to Fred and McTominay sitting deep. And we leave our attack and go, you know what, Bruno, you try and create something out of nothing. Martial, Greenwood, Rashford, do something, pull something out your arse. Do something magical. And yes, it worked a few times last season, but it doesn't work this season. That's why we've only won 2 of them games. It's not good enough. And this is where I'm going to go on to my next topic, Ole's favourites. Now for me, I think it's very, very obvious that Ole Gunnar Solskjær has favourites. If you look at our midfield, Harry, Scott McTominay and Fred playing about 50% of our games. We've got Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba's been pushed out to left wing so we can play Fred and McTominay in defensive midfield together. They're not good enough. With McTominay, I think McTominay is a very useful squad player and he's fantastic to come on against Manchester City when we got a 2-goal lead and just help us see it out like he did last season when we beat him 2-0 at Old Trafford when he scored that brilliant, was it a halfway line goal? But he shouldn't be starting in midfield for us because he's not as good as Matic as a defensive midfielder and he's not as good as Pogba as that box-to-box playmaker role. But he plays 50% of our games. Fred, I can see a spot role for Fred because I think he can play defensive midfielder. I think he is pretty good at tackling. But he's not good enough either. And they seemingly play every single week. And talk about players that play every single week, Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Look, both of these, big money signings. Wan-Bissaka is our best right back by far. But he never gets a rest. Sometimes you need to rest your players. Wan-Bissaka just doesn't get rested. If you think back to that Real Sociedad game, when we were 4-0 up, going to the second leg, Wan-Bissaka should not have played a minute in that game. He played a full 45 minutes. He might have played even longer than that. Where was the need to start him? He needs a rest. He plays every minute of every game. And yes, he's a fantastic player. But players need resting. Harry Maguire, whenever he's fit, he plays. Lindelof, somewhat as well. These players we've got in the top 7 of the most played players in Europe. We've got about 4 of them. That's too many. You can't be relying on players to play every minute of every game. Maguire, like I said, played every minute of last season where he could. This season is pretty much the same. It's too much minutes. It's far too many games. And the problem is, with Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire, they're clearly Ole's favourite centre-back partnership, but they don't work together. And we've seen that countless times. Bailly and either Maguire or Lindelof works much better than them two together. Tuanzebe and Lindelof works much better than Maguire and Lindelof. But yet we consistently see Ole Gunnar Solskjær go back to Lindelof and Maguire, and I just don't understand it. Anyway, let's get on to my next point. We are bottlers. Now within this squad, we have a massive, massive issue. We crumble at the slightest bit of pressure. You look at before Ole Gunnar Solskjær came in, at Jose Mourinho. We came second. We got to an FA Cup final, and the year before we came, was it 5th? But we won the Europa League. We won the Carabao Cup, well, at the time the League Cup. We won finals, and when we got to a semi-final, there was absolutely no doubt we would win it. You look at Louis van Gaal. Got to the FA Cup semi-final, won it, won the cup. You look at us now. You look at Ole Gunnar Solskjær's first season. We were well out of it. As a caretaker, he got us into a position where we looked like we could get top 4. What happened? We bottled it. We finished 5 points off 4th. But at the end of last season, we lost to Cardiff and we drew to Huddersfield. Win both them games, we get in. We come 4th. Well, we come level on 4th. But then that's not counting out games which we should have done better in. Chelsea, I remember, we should have got more in that game. We bottled it. We completely bottled top 4 in Ole Gunnar Solskjær's first season, which then put us in Europa League. The Europa League is probably the only competition I can say I don't think we bottled. I think we deserve to beat Sevilla. We played them off the park. It was just their goalkeeper had a worldie, and I think Brandon Williams, it just let us down, really. So ignoring the Europa League, you look at the FA Cup last season. We played Chelsea. We've beaten them 3 times already that season. We beat him in the League Cup. We beat him in the Premier League opening day 4-0. We beat him at Stamford Bridge 2-1, I think it was. Yet the game that actually has a lot of pressure on it, we crumbled. Again, Manchester City. We look at them in the Carabao Cup last season. We beat him at the Etihad when we first played him. We beat him at Old Trafford. But when it came to the Carabao Cup first leg, where there was so much pressure on, we lost 3-1, we got embarrassed. Second leg, yeah, we went and beat them 1-0, but it's too little too late at that point because the game was over, the time was over. There was no pressure on the second leg because we were out, pretty much. It would take a miracle to come and beat us. And we crumbled. We completely crumbled. And then we go to looking at this season. We didn't concede against Manchester City when we first played them at Old Trafford. We then played them in the Carabao Cup. Got embarrassed by them 2-0. We play them again. Again, we don't concede to them. We beat them 2-0 at the Etihad. What's going on? Why is it that we can beat City whenever we play them, apart from a semi-final, which we then lose to? You look at the FA Cup this season. We got to the quarter-finals. The first half, we don't play great. We get the easy draw. So we've got pressure now to beat what is a very good Leicester side. We crumble. Again, lose the game 3-1. And we were awful. We consistently bottle when we've got a moment. We're in a period where we can actually go win something. We bottle it. Even last season, we're top 4. We came 3rd, but we did stumble over the line, didn't we? You think back to how we were playing at the start of after lockdown, smashing teams. You then think about when we became really favourites to get into the top 4. That was about the Southampton game. We were awful in the Southampton game. We should have won it. Conceded last minute. Awful defending from a corner. We played Palace. We played awfully. I believe they should have had a goal or a penalty. They didn't. Rashford and Martial scored 2 great goals and we won the game. West Ham. We gave away a stupid penalty. Couldn't really break him down. It was only thanks to a Mason Greenwood screamer, or just a fantastic shot, that we managed to draw the game. And then we played Leicester City on the final day. Whoever won that game got top 4. We were awful. We were absolutely awful. Leicester City were by far and away the better team, but we won it thanks to, again, another lucky penalty really, when Martial went through on goal. I think Martial would have scored it anyway, but we got the penalty thanks to Johnny Evans' howler. I believe it was Johnny Evans. And then Kasper Schmeichel being a stupid and Jesse Lingard getting a tap in. We stumbled over the line. These weren't convincing. We smashed Southampton, we smashed Palace, we smashed West Ham, and we put it out of doubt. We stumbled over. And realistically, if Leicester, again, hadn't had injuries, and obviously they were without their key centre-back in Sayuncu for the last few games, he got sent off against, I think it was Bournemouth, where they got embarrassed, and Chelsea, they just had a little wobble, we could have finished 5th. We were very lucky to get 3rd last season, and I think that kind of papered over the cracks sort of thing. And I think this is what this season is also doing. Like I was saying, about the league being worse and these top sides being worse than they should be, thanks to injuries or just managers just falling off the ball a little bit, like we saw with Chelsea. Then just my last few little criticisms before we end this video. I think after 2 and a bit years of management from Ole Gunnar Solskjær, we should be seeing better. I don't think we really know what we are yet. We're meant to be this counter-attacking team, but we're an awful counter-attacking side against the smaller clubs when we have to try and dominate, because we take 3 or 4 touches before we try and play it forward. Counter-attacking is about being one touch, being quick. We're the slowest team in the league, surely. We're so slow getting it forward. You look at what Brendan Rodgers did when he took over Leicester. Everyone knows how Leicester want to play. Same as Thomas Tuchel. In Thomas Tuchel's first game, they broke a record for the most passes in a half of football. I think it might have been for that season. Well, for this season. That's instant. Look, that's what they want to do. We haven't seen that. I think we go from game to game and we see different Manchester Uniteds. I don't understand how after 2 and a bit years of Ole Gunnar Solskjær being at the helm, we are still seeing this inconsistency. Yes, sometimes you have a bad game. But it's amazing after bad, then amazing again, then bad. It's inconsistent. And for a man that has been here for so long, that shouldn't be happening. I think his lack of substitutes is very, very concerning. I think for a man that kind of made his career at Manchester United, obviously he was an incredible goal scorer. But for being a super sub, he doesn't know how to use his subs. I don't think he's proactive enough. I don't think he tries to change a game when it's not going his way. Yes, if you're dominating a game, you're creating chance after chance, and you just just something isn't clicking, the ball's just not going in the net, maybe you do leave it. Like we saw against Sevilla. I thought we dominated that game. Their goalkeeper just held a worldie. I can understand the idea of not trying to make a change, not trying to change something when it is clear, when the game is going to plan. The ball's just not going in the net. But you look at Wolves this season, we won 1-0. He did nothing to try and change that game. Nothing. And we didn't look like scoring. And it was only thanks to what was a mean deflection and a piece of Marcus Rashford brilliance, who up until that point had been awful, that we won the game. And I think we've seen at times that has cost us. I think if you look back to that Carabao Cup game again, Donny van der Beek, our star signing of the season, comes on in the last minute in a game where we're losing and we've created nothing. Surely you bring him on about the 70th minute and you think, go for it. Let's try and win this game now. But we didn't. And I think this has cost us games and may continue to do so if it continues. And just lastly on Ole Gunnar Solskjær, look, I think what he's done at the club since coming in here has been fantastic. I think he's got rid of some dead wood. I think he's progressed our squad forward. But what I do think is, I think he's reached his limit. I think he's reached his ceiling. I think there's only so much Ole Gunnar Solskjær can do. I don't think he is a good enough manager to compete with Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp, even Brendan Rodgers at the very, very top. And I think what he has done is he's like I say, he's progressed us forward. Got us into a position where really we could be at that level or thereabouts. And now we just need a top-class manager who's been there and done it to take over. What amazing progress he's made and say, this is when we go and compete. This is really where we would love a Mourinho-type manager. Someone who is a born winner. And that is only down to Ole Gunnar Solskjær, and he deserves so much credit for that. I think he's done a fantastic job. I just don't think he has the capabilities to take us further, and that's why I think he should be well, not even, I don't think he should be sacked. He should leave at the end of the season. He should hold his head up high and say, look what I've done. I've taken us from what was a mess at the end of Jose Mourinho and taken us to a very, very good position. And now it's just time for an experienced winner to come in, take that squad of players that he's crafted really well, make one or two big signings, and then take us to compete with the Manchester Cities and Liverpools of this world. I think he is the man before the man sort of mantra. And look, don't take nothing away from Ole Gunnar Solskjær. What he's done for this club is amazing. And I think this time as Manchester United manager should see him as more than just an iconic player. I think this time under Ole Gunnar Solskjær has rebuilt us in a way. I think it's now time to get a proper experienced manager in who can help us take us to the next level. Because unfortunately, I don't see Ole Gunnar Solskjær being that man. And I think other fans know that too. I think one way to tell about how your club is doing and your manager is ask other fans. If, as a Manchester United fan, do I want Jurgen Klopp to be sacked by Liverpool? Do I want Pep Guardiola to be sacked by Manchester City? Absolutely yes. Because I know they are amazing managers, and I know that with them at the helm, at them clubs, they will continue to be great successes, and them clubs will continue to be at the top with like seasons like this, and Man City last year, they fall off a little bit at points, but consistently they're at the very, very top. But if you ask Liverpool fans, you ask Manchester City fans, do they want Ole Gunnar Solskjær to be sacked as Manchester United manager? They're saying no. Because they want Ole Gunnar Solskjær to remain in charge, because they want and they think Ole Gunnar Solskjær will not win anything with Manchester United and will keep us where we are in the table. And I think that is always a good way to look at it. Again, if you from a Manchester United perspective, did I want Lampard to stay in charge of Chelsea? Yes, I did. I don't think they would ever reach the heights of Liverpool. Even the Chelsea of old under Lampard and under Tuchel, now I think they could. With Mourinho at Spurs, do I want him to stay there? Yes, I do. Because I think Mourinho, again, he's taken the wrong job there. I don't think Spurs are built for some Mourinho. So again, I don't think he will succeed there. So I want him to stay there. I think that's the same for Manchester United. I don't think we will get to the very, very top under Ole Gunnar Solskjær. Anyway, that's just my opinions on it. Obviously, you guys let me know down below what you think. Should Ole Gunnar Solskjær be given this 3-year new contract like is being speculated in the media, or should he be let go of at the end of the season like I believe he should be? Like I said, put that down below. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed. Please do hit the like button below and subscribe if you are new and you haven't already. And I will see you all in the next one in a bit. Peace.